And I think that should do it. Yep. So I think everyone is pretty much familiar with my channel, so I'll just do a brief introduction. Welcome to October Stitch and Bitch, or also lovingly known as Stitch and Witch, since it is the October episode. And if you are new here, hi, I'm Reija. My channel is The Bookfinch. You have found yourself here, and I am hosting this month's live show. And today I won't be crafting much of anything. I will instead be sketching. But I will show some pictures of the upholstery project that I actually finished, because I reupholstered all of my kitchen chairs.
Ooh,
So I will show some pictures. And Rachel, you're next.
Hi, I'm Rachel. My channel is Colonati, where I just do these live shows. And wait, I just had a big brain fart. Anyway, what I am working on today is...
Oh, that's pretty.
That's so pretty.
This is... I've just started on Clue 3 for this year's Stephen West Mystery Knit Along. So this is the Mystery Musicale. It's music themed. So
I love... Is some of that brioche?
There is brioche, there's welts, there's eyelet lace, and now we're doing... I don't even know what this technique is. I guess it's just modular knitting. Yeah. So we'll see how far along I get. I'm like 2 weeks behind on this cowl, so it's basically done this next week.
I mean, but it already looks really freaking cool.
I'm very pleased with how the colors turned out, and it's a very international shawl. Like, my lightest and darkest colors were from Finland. This color is from Canada. This one is some of the stuff I got from Third Vault Yarns in Glasgow. So
is that like the unofficial Worldcon shawl?
Kinda
like,
is,
because
yeah.
you're using all of the yarns from all of your trips to Worldcons.
Well, except for Finland. Well, honorary.
It was.
Yeah.
Anyway. Kelsey, you're next.
Hi, I'm Kelsey. My channel is The Fancy Hat Lady Reads. I still do post there occasionally.
Kelsey is the good one of us, just so you know. So go follow her and watch her stuff.
Filmed
and also die.
A video like over a week ago and still haven't finished editing it. So, I might get out my skirt that I'm sewing the trim on and keep plunking away at it during this stream, or I might not.
We have our first cat.
Look! Oh my god, Void. I doubt Hermes will make an appearance actually today, because I forgot to put his evening meal to defrost in the morning. So I still haven't been able to feed him because it's like still defrosting somewhere. So he has been giving me lip. Deservedly, because I did a dum-dum. I did give him some kibble for like sustenance until he gets his proper meal.
How could you?
Indeed. I am a terrible cat parent in this regard. Like I had one job and I failed it.
Well, I can summon my girl.
While Kelsey is summoning Sunshine, who is a fantastic lady, Dai, will you introduce yourself? Oh, that was fast. That was fast.
Lit off the thing, and here she is.
Hi, my name's Diana. My channel is Bookish Dai. I've been pretty dormant on it this year. Maybe I'll revive it at some point because I do want to chat about books, but I just have not.
You gave your all for the manacled, alchemized, Illumicrate shenanigans, and then you have basically just.
Yeah, that I did not expect it to pop off as much as it did. I think last time it had over 10,000 views, which is
oh my god!
I don't like being perceived that much.
But it was a really good one though. Like you really you could tell that your research brain had gone into that. Like it was a really good video.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's me. I'm also a lot on Blue Sky, and then I am still working on this shawl. I've done the color switch.
Very cool.
Yeah, so I may be playing it yarn chicken a bit with the blue yarn, but it'll be fine. It will be fine. Yeah.
All right. Excellent. So, before we go through all of the things that everyone has been reading, the group in general has been doing a buddy read of Martha Wells's Queen Demon. So we're gonna have the discussion about that. I'm still in the middle of it, actually, so I will not be participating too much, except for the beginning portions and like what my thoughts are on that and hopes and expectations.
My completely non-spoilery take on the series. Like my first thing I posted when I knew I was the only one who had finished the book was about the horses, the Eureka horses, which are horrifying. And I have...
Yeah, the horses are not horses. Like there's some
I
kind
have
of
a pet theory, having reread, because I reread Witch King first.
Yeah.
Is that this is a translation error because Kai, when he first encounters the Eureka horses, he does not speak the language. He has not been mortal very long. And he's just like, I guess this is a horse
because
here.
he's a Saredi. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
he's like, well, these are not very much like the Saredi horses, which have hooves and eat grass, but I guess this is a horse.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I like
someone
this.
pointed to this horse-sized riding animal and called it whatever a horse, whatever.
It's that me with the butterfly.
Yes, is this a horse? That is what is happening here. Kai has made a translation error.
I like this theory.
I believe it.
I believe it. And also, I think it would be on brand for Martha Wells to include something like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, in general, we will keep this discussion spoiler free because we acknowledge the book has been out for like a month, so there might be people who have not yet read it. But I'm currently on the throes of page 70-ish thereabouts, and the first part of the book is very battle heavy, and my brain has been short circuiting a little bit, like trying to follow all the battle choreography and everything that has been going on. Please tell me I'm not the only one who has been suffering.
I have a really hard time understanding battle action movements of like large groups of people, especially if there are not really detailed maps. Like, and we talked about this too in our group chat. Like, why is there not a map in the Queen Demon book?
There is one in Witch King, and
you can refer to one in Witch King.
Didn't get one.
I will say, like, I listened to both of them on audio, so it didn't bother me as much.
Yeah,
but that's mostly because.
But then they go to places that aren't on the map. Like they keep talking about Baelith or however you pronounce that, and it's like I don't even think Ank'Kartra is on the map.
It's off the bot. So there's the Baelith straight there. So I'm assuming
that's where I was assuming, and they cross
down there, but it's off the bot. They're off the bottom of the map.
And then there's a whole sequence where they're trying to take a fort. And this is where I was like, okay, there's a fort, but there's also a town and there's a harbor. I would really like one of those like inset maps of what this whole area looks like. Like, come on. Tamara Pierce's novels in the early 2000s had more maps than both of these books combined.
The thing that actually makes me wonder, not necessarily even the lack of map, because I've just been like trying to reference the map in Witch King when I've had it on hand, which has not been often. But I think now, like I feel like in the past I read like for example Robin Hobb's Farseer trilogy and Lifeship Traders. Like there are maps, but sometimes it feels like you didn't necessarily have to look at the maps because the way the scenery is laid out is pretty simplistic or like easy to understand. Whereas sometimes I feel like in a lot of modern fantasy, like, is it just like the authors are expecting there to be a map that is doing a lot of the heavy lifting of like the scenery setting, or like I feel like in a lot of like newer fantasy books I've had a harder time understanding how the world is supposed to be laid out. I feel like was it Susan Dennard's Truth Witch, like the Witchland series, was the worst in this, because I sometimes like fully pictured like the whole landscape different, like that they were going a different route, and then I was checking the map and was like, wait, no.
I want to say specifically with Martha Wells, like the Raxura books needed a map and none of them had
For
one.
sure.
I got so confused because the where things are in those books are so important, and it is not obvious. So like Witch King having a map felt like, yes, finally Martha Wells gets a map.
Murderbots don't have maps either, right?
But I feel like Murderbot doesn't need it. Like sci-fi tends to not need maps as much as fantasy.
See, there I disagree.
Through a
I would
wormhole and
actually
now you're at
want.
this place.
I actually disagree. I would love there to be more sci-fi books with maps, with like actual like star
definitely.
charts and stuff. That
Oh
would be
yeah,
cool.
they're definitely. I mean,
Appreciated that in These Burning Stars had a map of like all 3 solar systems of that empire, and it said like what the ruling families were and you know who the main gods were on each planet, and like I referred to that frequently.
And it's great. Like I want more of that.
More
Because
maps.
like in more maps, like maps make me happy.
we need more SFF authors who are obsessed with cartography.
Exactly.
Yes,
Like cartography nerds, please.
please.
And also don't make it with generative AI.
Yeah, don't do
Yeah.
that.
Don't
Really
that.
don't do
Hire actual people who know how maps should work. Can we talk a little bit about, like, we touched on this,
We have the other one.
Leia, oh boy.
She lost
so-
an itty bitty bit of weight, but she
I was
still a
just about to
certified
mention
chunk.
that her cheeks look so fluffy.
She is still certified chunk.
Certified chunk.
Yeah, but she does need to lose about a pound though. She's like a little under 15 pounds.
How much is 15 pounds in kilos? Let me just...
I don't know. I can't do kilo to pound. How many kilos?
Like 6.8?
Girl!
How is she 6.8 kilograms? Hermes is like 4.
She chunk.
She tunk.
She's heavy.
She's certified
Thick-
big girl.
Thick girl.
One thing, I don't know if I can interrupt, about Queen Demon and the sort of balance of battle versus other stuff is the balance of like the past timeline and the present timeline. In Witch King, we got approximately 2 chapters of present for every 1 chapter of past, whereas it mostly alternates.
Mhm.
1 and 1. In Queen Demon, we get a lot of the past timeline in this.
Yeah, we do. Like at least where I'm reading, it's like 1-to-1,
Yeah.
past and present, and the
I
past is very battle heavy.
I
Mhm.
have mixed feelings about that, in part because, like, while I care more about the character relationships that are happening in the past timeline than the present, I care less about the plot, because in this book specifically, we spend a lot of time in this plot with the Dust Witches. And if you haven't read it, I won't elaborate further because I don't want to spoil things. But it
Thank
is
you.
this plot line that doesn't feel especially important to me in the grand scheme of things.
That's what I was wondering about with the Dust Witches. Is I kept wondering if they were relevant to the current day storyline as well, like if we were going to see some of these people again, and I don't think that we do.
We
see
saw
one.
one of them very briefly at the
cloisters.
cloisters where they
Go at the beginning.
go
Yeah.
at the beginning.
Oh, was that before we knew their names in the past?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I missed that.
But that is the only appearance of a Dust Witch so far in the present timeline. What it does do is this plot line ends up explaining an ability that we saw that Kai had very briefly in the first book, where like he can do a lot of things with magic. And in the first book, he just does a lot of stuff that isn't particularly explained. We still have no explanation of how these heart pearls work, for example.
Mm-mm.
But there is like
Isn't there also that whole thing like part of his powers are like the demonic powers that he's basically
Yeah.
born with and
Right.
he's pulling from the demonic realm, but then other parts is basically like when he inhabited the
The expositor.
expositor's body,
right,
he got
learned how
the skills.
to
He
use
learned how to do the
intentions.
intentions.
So there
Mhm.
are like 3 different things that we already know from book 1 going on with Kai's magic. We know that he has the demon's ability to drain life from things with a touch. We know that he learns how to use intentions like an expositor. And we also know that there are cantrips, which are what witches use, but they power it differently than
Mhm.
Expositor.
But I
expositors
think
do.
But I think the stuff that he's learning about the witch powers is what Ziade is teaching him. So those
Yes.
are stuff that don't have to be inherited essentially, but can be learned if there's an understanding of
I mean, he can learn new intentions too.
yeah.
Mhm.
He just has to power them with pain. But there is this specific thing that he does at the beginning of Witch King on that boat where he like uses this persuasive voice to get
Yes.
enemies to talk to him. And that goes completely unexplained in book 1. Like, what is this ability and how does he have it? And like the best justification I can give for how much time we spend with the Dust Witches in Queen Demon is this is the explanation of that one weird power we saw Kai have briefly on a boat.
I think it's also showing how he became called the Witch King.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I
Because
think
he
for
was
me, like,
leading the witches
I
in
think
that.
that's the big
battle.
part is showing like how he got that name.
Which
I mean,
leads
makes
to my
sense.
second big thought, which is I am not totally sure why this book is called Queen Demon. I think I know who the Queen Demon is, but I don't know why she's called that in the title.
I don't really know either. And we don't want to go too far into that because we're talking about stuff that happens near the end of the book. But
Yeah.
Yes, and then we would be in spoiler territory.
Yeah.
But
I also was like,
But I guess like I'm personally interested in like in terms of like how so one of the reasons why I'm slowly making my way through the book is that like this book feels very different to Witch King, whereas I feel like in Witch King I was constantly I was reading the present chapters because I wanted to know what happened in the past. Like it was like, and the way the past was laid out with like essentially Kai being born as into the Saredi tribe in the
Mhm.
new body, and then there being the ritual, and then like his mess ups, and then the slow build up to the hierarchs colonizing everything, and like the Saredi losing their life, and there's that like it happens in bits and pieces. So there's like almost like a pastiche of like you see a scene, and then each scene is building on the last, and it's like alluding to things rather than like the narrative I feel in like the past narrative in Witch King felt more intriguing because you're not following it one to one like and you're not following it one to one in the new one either, but I feel like there's like the events of the past narrative are closer together than they were in Witch King, which then makes it feel like more like you're following it in like a linear like time progression, as opposed to Witch King where it was more spread out. Like it felt like there were months
Especially
sometimes
in those
years
early
between things.
chapters, like in the first 2 or 3 flashback chapters, she covers so much space
Yeah.
in Witch King. And then once Kai meets Bashasa and the gang, it starts to become like a normal plot.
Yeah. But I think that's what I'm kind of like have been a little bit struggling with and I understand why it has been changed, because like why there's that change there, but it just feels a little jarring when I still have the memory of the Witch King, like, which was a very different type of narrative experience. And it also, like, the past timeline, which was more sporadic in Witch King, helped kind of it helped the present narrative feel more urgent, because it was following a completely different like time progression as opposed to the past timeline.
There was also this thing that happened in Witch King where, like, almost coincidentally, you sort of landed at the same places in both timelines. They kind of synced up by the end. Like, we learn about the summer halls in the past, then we go to the summer halls in the present, see the difference. Yeah. We learn about this, we go to that place. And that's not happening in Queen Demon at all. Like, we're doing this military.
Yeah, they're completely kind of separate.
Yeah.
And then we're up the bottom of the map in the south.
Yeah, I think for me, what I liked most about the past is getting to see the developing relationships between Kai and the people he considers his family. And I think that's the other main point, for me at least, the other main point of the past sections in Queen Demon, because like what we see in Witch King is them all meeting, and it's like very much get the gang back together. But in Queen Demon, it's like, why does the gang stay together?
Mm-hmm.
And that was something that was needed.
I found it really interesting to see more of Kai's relationship with Dahin, Taran's brother.
Yeah.
We get to... I really wish I had reread Witch Kings. It took me forever to remember who he was. But between seeing him in the past and his relationship in the past with Kai, and then Kai's what he says more about Bashat, I was like, oh, you must see Kai as like a parental figure for a lot of people in the story, also with like Sanja. So
yeah,
I like that. Doesn't matter what in his life, like he's got somebody he's taking care of.
I will say we are now about 25 minutes for time. Do we want to sum up our thoughts on Queen Demon and then get to the reading portion?
Yeah.
4 stars.
4 stars. Okay, good.
4.5 stars.
I'm also at 4.5. I think this one worked. I enjoyed it more. Like, I liked Witch King a lot, but I think I liked this one better because we get to see more of the relationship dynamics, which is like my favorite thing.
Yes. In that case, I am commenting in the chat that the Queen Demon discussion is over.
I will say this is not plot related at all. So, Illumicrane 2023 did an edition of Witch King. You know, it does have the trade cover, but it does have, some nice illustrations, which are cool.
I have that as well.
So I have many reasons why Illumicrane is on my shit list. But the most recent edition, they did not do a matching edition of Queen Demon, despite them being like, oh, we love Martha Wells so much. She's our favorite author. And it's like, okay, you could do, sequel editions to books that weren't Hugo nominated, but you couldn't do one for Queen Demon.
But it's one of the most highly anticipated fantasy releases for the year. Like Martha
I
Wells has a
will
lot of
say it
clout from
depends where
Murderbot.
you are on the internet, whether it was highly anticipated or not. Like what I've seen of like TikTok, no one particularly liked Witch King.
Well, that's because it's not romantasy. Let's be
But
real here.
people like Murderbot on TikTok.
I honestly think that's part of it, is like people were expecting something similar to Murderbot and it's not. But
Right.
anyway,
Here's the thing. When I read Witch King, I was expecting something similar to Raksura, and I got what I wanted. I got exactly what I wanted.
anyway, I'm miffed about it because I really like having matching sets, and now I don't.
But were you gonna buy it anyway?
I probably would have tried to find someone who was reselling it.
Now you don't have to.
Illumicrate and Broken Binding are both doing Murderbot, and I think I'm gonna do the Broken Binding one just because the Murderbot or the Illumicrate ones like are very.
Also,
I don't like
Broken Binding editions are really freaking cool. I have their T. Kingfisher's Nettle and Bone in the Broken Binding edition, and it's really fantastic. And I'm still to this day resentful and regretful that I did not get Octavia E. Butler's Parable of the Sower, the duology, because the Broken Binding set is really cool. It looks fantastic.
The only Broken Binding editions I have are the reprint they did for the Dandelion Dynasty a couple of years ago, and I really like them.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping that they have extra copies of Between Earth and Sky that they put on sale, because they just did that for their fantasy sub. So I'm hoping in the next like 4 to 6 months leftovers go on sale, because I would like to get them. They're also, for their sci-fi sub, doing Simon Jimenez's The Vanished Birds, and again, I'm hoping there are leftovers because I would like to have a pretty copy of that.
Nice. Okay. Let's talk about reading. I haven't read anything else since our last live show, except for Queen Demon. And I finished this one, which I was reading last time. 3 stars. Pretty introductory, I would say. I was in very good dialogue with this book, however. So if you want to do annotation and kind of use it as a journaling tool, would say that this is pretty good for that. Like basically Defying a Paradigm by Marla Schreiber, nonfiction about non-monogamy, basically. And then I'm still in the middle of the poetry book because I've tried to get to Queen Demon, and I will choose Kelsey to go first because it's been a while since you got to go first, so let's go.
So I read, I'm not going to go in chronological order here. I am just mere pages away from the end of Among Ghosts. This being, I guess, my sort of spooky season read because it has ghosts. It's not really a spooky book. It is a plague book, which I did not realize when I started reading it, which is probably why it took me a long time to like get into in the beginning. But it's one of those books that has a lot of different kind of things going on. It's very hard to give an actual like brief summary of what it's about. It is sort of younger YA. The protagonist is 13. It takes place sometime prior to the author's other books that take place in this world. I don't think you have to read any of the other books to appreciate this one. There are no direct connections. You will maybe understand what's going on with the dragons better if you have, but it's not super important. It's interesting because after reading like all of the other Southlands universe books, and I did like a series review of them. I kind of pinpointed, well, there are a couple of thematic through lines here, and I was curious if those would hold in this one. I think Rachel Hartman is really interested in discussions of like faith and the divine in a fantasy context, like what sort of experiences beyond the everyday are spiritual in some way. And there's definitely some interesting religion stuff going on here. The ghosts, some of them are these pagan girls who predate the religion of the All Saints, and this is far enough in the past from the other books that there is this whole through line of the sort of coming of the religion of the All Saints and the persecution of the pagans. And of course, the ghosts being something that the All Saints religion does not accept can exist. Girl, why are you sticking this in my bag? What you doing?
While Sunshine is there, I will take this moment to say hi to people. So we have Joe and Mr. Roro. As always, thank you for joining us.
Oh, hi, Chris.
And yes, hello everyone. And thank you for joining us. And also hope you enjoyed our discussion on Queen Demon. And then Kelsey, go ahead.
The other thing that Rachel Hartman seems repeatedly interested in her books is gender roles in society. And I'm going to say this book has a trans protagonist, but you don't learn that he's trans until like after the halfway mark. And I don't know why the choice was made to not make that obvious earlier. I will say it isn't a huge part of the story. The story is about a whole lot of other things. And like, I wonder if that was a conscious choice to like not lead with that part of the protagonist's story. But I do think people may want to know that this is a book with a trans protagonist. I am not quite done, so like the book could still throw something at me at the end I'm not expecting. This is not, to me, like everything Rachel Hartman writes will be compared in my mind with Tess of the Road, which I think is one of the best YA books I've ever read. This is not on the level of Tess of the Road, but I am still enjoying it. I have been enjoying it. I think it's a book that has a lot of different themes in it and a lot of interesting things to pick apart. And other books. Okay, so I talked last month, I think I had read the first 2 Cemeteries of Amalo books.
Oh yes, because you loved the city of Amalo and was planning our road trip there.
Tomb of Dragons. I did read Tomb of Dragons. I loved it. I was spoiled for something about it in advance that I think I was glad I knew in advance. I don't know how much to talk about. Has anyone else read it yet?
No, I'm hoping to get to it before the end of the year, so.
Do you want to know the thing that I was spoiled for, or do we not want to?
We probably shouldn't put spoilers here.
Yeah.
I will say I have a lot of thoughts, and they should probably go in a video on my channel as opposed to in a live stream. I think
what I want to know is the spoiler a content warning or no? Okay. I don't want to know if it's not a content warning.
I think I will probably do a video about the full series at some point. I hate promising because, like, I promised a Raksura video, which I still intend to do, and it has not yet materialized.
Yes, I am waiting for your Raksura video because
I'm gonna get to it, I promise, eventually. So
I am looking forward to dissecting your video and making a comment
And then a couple
long as
things
essay in the.
I read a couple things I was kind of more disappointed in. I had this was very, very impulsive of me. I had The Magpie Lord by KJ Charles on my Kindle. I'd never read anything by her because most of it isn't fantasy, but this is the start of the series that is.
Wait, is this the first thing you read by KJ Charles?
Yes, unfortunately. And it wasn't great, but I don't know that I want to read anything else first because nothing else she's read is fantasy, right? Nothing else she's written is fantasy?
Not a lot, no. Like a.
So there are other books that are like spin-offs of the Magpie Lord that are also in this world that are different. Yeah, I also read the Magpie Lord series first, and my reaction.
See, I have it on my Kindle, and I still haven't read it,
Yeah.
and it was not the first KJ Charles.
Because,
So
like,
now
I
I'm
am
very happy that I didn't.
willing to give an author the benefit of the doubt because this was published like so long ago. Well, not so long ago. 2013, long enough ago that like I can see how this book has probably influenced like other writers I read who are doing historical fantasy romance. And so like I appreciate seeing those connections and understanding that context. But yeah, I wasn't going to start anywhere else because nothing else she writes is fantasy.
There is one other fantasy romance that she's written, which is possibly my favorite book she's ever written. It's called Spectred Isle.
Is it related or unrelated?
It is a standalone.
Okay.
And that is the problem with it, is it was supposed to be the first part of like a trilogy, and then she ran into issues with the plotting of it, basically. So it is a standalone, and that's very disappointing to me because it is my favorite, and I wish that one book was a trilogy unto itself. But anyway, I would still recommend it. I really, really love Spectred Isle. I've read it like 4 times, so
we'll consider that one. And then I'm in a situation where I have just all these books coming due at the library that I haven't read, that I've run out of renewals on.
So your library chicken has failed then.
Yes, exactly. So like I've had to return some things unread. I did read the second volume of Little Mushroom. It's a Chinese BL web novel where the protagonist is a mushroom, which is why I read it, because I wanted to read Mushroom Protagonist.
In BL.
It's science fiction. And
what's it called? Because I'm kind of intrigued now.
Little Mushroom. It is extremely dystopian science fiction, and that is the thing. Is it was just such a downer.
The one by Shisi?
Yes.
Was it good?
No. Here's the thing. I thought the first volume had promise. Like the first volume was okay in a way where I was like, I am curious to see where this is going. And I did not like where it ended up going.
Okay, question. Where in that BL set, where does the mushroom fit in?
So the mushroom, he starts off as a mushroom, but he like eats a dead human and gains the ability to shapeshift into a human.
So It's to your eternity. But
I don't know what that is.
that's a manga series and also an anime series that I have. It's a manga series that I have read. Yeah, sorry about that. I realized the phrasing only after I had actually let the words come out of my mouth, which is a thing that happens to me. We hope the mushroom does not actually fit into anything.
I will say, so like I had seen reviews that said that the romance wasn't great and the reason to read this web novel was the sci-fi. And I was like, great, I would love to read something where the romance is like secondary to the sci-fi, but this is such heavy dystopian, and there is something like, I will say there is something there that is like a seed of something good, where the whole thing is about this character who is living among humans but is not one, and is learning about humanity at this time when humanity is falling and everyone is dying and things are falling apart. And like there is something very poignant about that. But it was just so much disaster. It was too much of a disaster story for me. Like volume 1 is where vast majority of the humans die, and then volume 2 it just gets worse.
So we actually see the death of humanity in this.
The last few humans get saved at the end by the valiant self-sacrifice of the mushroom, who does manage to reincarnate afterwards, so happily ever after. But
Of course, it's a Donghua that needs to have reincarnation baked in somewhere. Why would a mushroom have to reincarnate anything anyway? Shouldn't they have like
because
spores,
he's self-immolated in the self-immolation device so that the humans could use his frequency from the device to save the world. This is all this. I'm assuming none of you are going to read this, so this is just all the.
Well, I am looking at it in Storygraph and wondering, but at the same time, I'm not sure if I want to put myself through. Oh, what the heck! I'll just edit it. It's easier to find later.
Of the romance, like I think it would have been better if the love interest guy just wasn't in the book. It would have been fine.
She's an orb.
Mushrooms don't really die. So.
Yeah. You guys have seen that Tumblr post, right?
Which Tumblr post?
Oh my god, it's like the mushroom. Tell me the name of God.
Oh no! Oh no!
It's like I'm gonna. Here it is. Me holding a gun to a mushroom. Tell me the name of God, you funkle piece of shit. Mushroom. Can you feel your heart burning? Can you feel the struggle within? The fear within me is beyond anything your soul can make. You cannot kill me in any way that matters. Me cocking the gun, tears streaming down my face. I'm not fucking scared of you. Someone reblogs and says, "Hey, OP, what the fuck does this mean?" And the OP says, "Decay exists as an exit form of life." I'm putting this in our group chat so you can see it. It's one of those like very Tumblr famous posts where like I've been at the Devil's Sacrament long enough.
No, I've seen this. I have totally seen this. I know what this is. I did not know it came from Tumblr.
Yeah.
I have like a weird like recollection that I have seen this, but at the same time it like now that I'm reminded of it, I'm just like,
you cannot kill me in any way that matters thing gets quoted a lot. Like that's a meme.
Yeah. Anyway, I just
while we are in the topic of mushrooms, I do want to share. I have not backed any new Kickstarter projects in a while, but I did do this one thing because there is a board game. If you know the board game Wingspan, which is about bird watching and basically collecting birds, now there's a Kickstarter project for a similar game. It's kind of like Wingspan, but for mushroom gathering.
I think that was recommended to me on Kickstarter.
I did back it. I hope it's good. I really love Wingspan. There's also a fantasy version of Wingspan, where you try to catch dragons, but I have not played it myself.
I think I've gotten all caught up on all the things I've read. I think.
In that case, Dai, you're up.
Oh,
What have
God.
you been reading? What have you been up to?
God,
Go ahead.
I have so much reading. So let's see. I'm gonna do nonfiction first, then fiction. So for nonfiction, I finally finished reading Orientalism by Edward Said.
Classic.
This was one where I wish I had read it in a university class, because I feel like I know it's not. I know that there's a lot of things that he discusses that I just don't have the background to really appreciate, because this book is partially retrospective, partially like looking forward, but looking at the field of Orientalism and how it was created and its different traditions, and then talking about how it impacts the modern day. And there's a lot of pieces of literature that he references that I don't have the grounding to really understand it. Like, I do think he was making a lot of really good points about how within, like, because of the tradition of Orientalism, there's this separation, like this kind of enforced separation of viewing people from the Middle East and Asia as the other and as people to be observed and as kind of always stuck in the past and not really evolving. And yeah, I do wish I had the context of an anthropology tutorial or something, because I do think it was good that I finally read it and I could finally understand like what people were referring to, but I think I would have gotten more out of it had I had that grounding, or had I been in a discussion group to kind of talk with people about it. The next nonfiction I read, which I really enjoyed, it's Somebody is Walking on Your Grave, My Cemetery Journeys by Mariana Enriquez. So she's the one who wrote Our Share of Night and A Sunny Place for Shady People. And this was published 4 or 5 years ago in Spanish, and it finally got an English translation. And it's like a memoir essay collection where Enriquez is talking about her trips to different cemeteries around the world and why she's interested in them, and also talking about like the culture of where the cemeteries are located, the history. So she goes to a number of cemeteries in Argentina, for example, and talks about the history of different places in Argentina, but she also goes to like New Orleans and talks about, you know, their funeral death culture. She goes to the old Jewish cemetery in Prague. So she goes to different places. I really enjoyed her writing. I thought I liked the translation, and I liked her sense of humor. So I have an ebook copy of Our Share of Night that I have been meaning to read for a while. So I think this might finally be the impetus I need, but it is a very long book. So I need to just like settle down and read it. And then the last nonfiction book I read was Murderland: Crime and Bloodlust in the Time of Serial Killers by Caroline Fraser. And this is so when I normally read true crime, I tend to gravitate more towards like heists and cons and white collar true crime, just because I don't particularly enjoy reading about rapes and murders. And so this isn't the type of this is focused on like, you know, the Ted Bundys, the BTK, and it's focused on like that time in the United States where there was a lot of serial killers happening, and a lot of them were centered around the Pacific Northwest, and where I live got several mentions, which was a little weird. So it's not the type of true crime I normally read, but one of my colleagues had mentioned picking it up, and I saw in the blurb that it was going to be looking at kind of the lead crime hypothesis, which for folks who don't know, the lead crime hypothesis basically says that the dramatic drop off in violent crime that we've seen since the 1990s corresponds with removing lead from gasoline, and also kind of being more vigilant about lead in things like paint and pipes that affect us, because there's no safe level of lead. Lead causes a lot of problems, particularly in children. And so one of the things that Caroline Fraser was talking about in this book was the fact that a lot of the people, like a lot of these kind of infamous serial killers grew up in places that had high lead, high arsenic, high heavy metal content due to smelters and other industries. So that's why I read it, even though it's not my normal true crime content. And this was one that was tough for me because I think when she was getting into more of that environmental crime, talking about things like the Coffin Butte mine and like its impacts in Montana or in Idaho, talking about the smelters in Tacoma and how that affected things, like I thought that was better. But she spent so much time talking about like what Ted Bundy did to his victims, and I'm like, I don't need to read this. This isn't something that I particularly enjoy learning about. And like what little I know, like I have purposely not watched content about Ted Bundy or consumed content about like those serial killers because it's like I don't need to know. So
also there's these like for example, when the documentaries came out about, I think which was the one where they basically yassified, I think it was Dahmer. They yassified Dahmer.
That wasn't a documentary. That was a
that was the
Ryan
dramatization
Murphy.
There's now a similar one, like it's by the director who did American Horror Story as well. I think
that's Ryan Murphy.
Yeah.
Ryan Murphy needs to be tried in The Hague for a variety of reasons.
Exactly. But yeah.
So I did not particularly enjoy this one. It did lead me wanting to learn more about Superfund sites and what goes on with that. But yeah, I did not particularly like that one. And then in terms of fiction stuff that I read, so I read the new Shauna Maguire book, Silver and Lead, which is book 19 in the October series. I enjoyed it. It felt like a classic Toby misadventure, and that was especially needed after like the last run of books, because there was like the last 3 books are kind of this informal trilogy where book 16 was kind of Chekhov's gun finally going off. And it was like this big world-changing thing. And then books 17 and 18 were dealing with the consequences in the same period of time, but from 2 different perspectives. So one from Toby and one from Tybalt. And so this one, I'm glad that we are going back to kind of what I think for me is like the standard Toby formula. So like they're still dealing with the fallout of what happened in the last 3 books, but it's very much like the structure is more classic Toby. I read Orange Wine by Esperanza Hope Snyder. This is historical fiction. So this was published by Marinez's. Oh, I love this series, so I am going to keep reading it. It is one of the. It's like my constant for like almost 2 decades now. Shit. Decade and a half. Anyway, so Orange Wine it's pretty short. It's historical fiction set in Colombia in like the early 20th century, and it's following this woman Inez and kind of her relationships and her figuring out like what she wants and how she can have happiness. And it was inspired by Snyder's grandparents. I think I ended up like a 3.5 on it. It's definitely kind of like, it's one where, because it's short, I would recommend just sampling it. Like it doesn't take long to read, and it definitely has kind of this, you're in it, but there's also like this narrative distance to it. Like someone is talking about this really traumatic or really difficult time from like, but distantly. So sometimes, like, I don't know if this is the case with your grandparents, but sometimes like they'll talk about things and they'll have like it happened to them, but there's this distance from it. I don't know if I'm so. Let's see, I'm sorry. I have been reading quite a bit. Then I read Universality by Natasha Brown. This was longlisted for the Booker Award, and it's lit fic. And again, it's pretty short, and it's again not something I would normally read, but folks in one of the Discord servers I'm in read it, and most liked it. There were some conflicting feelings about it, and so it's a book told in 4 parts. So the first is like this magazine newspaper story talking about this attack with this gold bar on this farm in England, and it's like dealing with it, the type of long read that will go viral where it's like, oh, this like does such a good job of talking about class or talking about race. And so it's like, it's very much in that vein. And then part 2 is about the writer of that section, and then the writer, and kind of you get an idea of like how she fits in. It's very much like a British class story. And so you find out what's going on with her. And then the last part is this woman who is like this British commentator, and she's, I think someone, it was like Katie Hopkins or Katie something, where she's very much, I would say she a little bit like Piers Morgan, where she's like this columnist who is very like right wing, but not all the way. It's weird, but it's her perspective and kind of how she, thank you, Katie Hopkins, and how she like kind of got to this situation, and it's her interview, and like her perspective just made me like, so it's one where like, I don't know if I'd recommend it, but it felt a little similar to Penance, where it's like this very like pointed commentary about a certain segment of British society. But I think I like Penance more. Like Penance is still kind of my favorite lit fic that I've read. I haven't read a lot of lit fic. I read the new Nevo, Mouthful of Dust. I enjoyed it.
I still need to get it.
It didn't hit the high point of Mammoth at the Gate. I think I liked it a little bit more than The Brides of High Hall, which I did enjoy. So I would say it's like upper high end for me.
I should order it because like I was kind of forgetting that it's coming out a little bit. So
yeah. Content warning: cannibalism.
Ooh.
Oh.
How is it on page cannibalism?
It's discussed.
Okay, then it's no biggie. Oh, for me. Like if it's on page, then I kind of need to be like a little bit more prepared, I guess.
But I'm gonna be interested to talk about it more once y'all have read it, because I do have some thoughts about some stuff that happened, but I don't want to say it because spoilers.
Yeah, it has just come out.
Yeah. Reread Witch King, Red Queen Demon, and then I have been in my trash pocket because I read Murderland, and I was like in a weird mental state. I'm like, I don't want to read, like, I just read so much about murder and rape, and I need to read something that I know I'll like. So I started a trash pocket reread of the Mercy Thompson series, and these are very much like, are these books objectively good? No. Do I enjoy them? Yes.
Hey, you're talking to the person who read from start to finish Betrayal of Dignity.
Yeah. So
and
I have read 3 of the novels in the full short story collection in about a week.
Oh wow, that's
like I am
nice.
not joking about being in my trash. Well, the other thing is like, these are like in general, I find them to be really quick reads, especially on a reread. So yeah, I've been having a good time. I am trying to slow down though and like savor the reread so I don't burn out, because that is something I am worried about, because I would like to do a full reread and catch up at some point, because the thing that started this was I found out Patricia Briggs is publishing a collection. So for context, there's this side character named Asil who is very old, and his backstory is his mate was killed. He's dealing with a lot of issues, and there's a short story where he gets set up on a blind date, and it was like a series of 5 blind dates. And so I read the first short story, had a lot of fun. I read the second one, had a lot of fun, and then she announced there's a third one out there somewhere, And then she announced that she was doing a bind up of the 3 plus the final 2. And it's called Blind Date with a Werewolf. And I'm like, I have to read it. Asil's my favorite side character. I have to read it. So I'm on the wait list for it. I'm hoping I can get to it before the end of the year. But yeah,
Here's the thing. Sometimes it's just nice to read trash.
yeah,
Like
and
it's your trash. Just savor it.
yeah, it's just these, like I said, these aren't books I necessarily recommend for a variety of reasons, but I really enjoy Mercy as a character, and I think Patricia Briggs has an interesting mythology that she's been building up. And I'm reading it and thinking about how in some recently published stuff there's like really flimsy world building, and like I'm not saying this is perfect world building, but you can tell like she's put thought into it and like been thinking about consequences and like if something happens, what happens next, and like at least trying to be cohesive, which is more than I can say for some books I've read. Yeah, so I'm enjoying it. I'm currently reading The Vanished Birds by Simon Jimenez, and I'm liking it. I love The Spear Cuts Through Water, and I need to take a break from Mercy. I need to do something different, and
You need to do something productive.
I had to clean my apartment yesterday. I still need to do some cleaning, but I was like, I'll listen to The Vanished Birds because I grabbed it on sale as an audiobook like last year. So yeah, Mercy is a Volkswagen mechanic. The jokes write themselves. She makes some of the jokes.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's just one of the things I like about Mercy as a character is she's someone who is relatively like she can turn into Coyote. She has some magical abilities, but compared to like the vampires and werewolves in Fae of the World, she is like underpowered. So she has to be smart and like a little bit strategic in like how she approaches things. Like she likes bending rules, but she knows like what she can bend versus what she has to follow.
I only now realized the joke. It just flew over my head. It's a car joke.
Yep.
It's 2 cars. It's 2 car brands. That's the joke.
Yep. She primarily
I was wondering what the joke is.
She works on German cars. So she does work on Mercedes as well. Anyway, that is what I've read. I know it was a lot. I've been listening to a lot of audiobooks recently.
And that's fine. Like use whatever format works. I say, always. Anything else, Di, or shall
Nope.
we move on to Rachel?
That is it for me.
I will let you loose with your hefty pile of all the things you've read. Go ahead.
Apparently, I've read like 15 things since the last live show.
15.
I went on a little bit of a manga binge, though, to be honest. I am caught up on the English translations of the Apothecary Diaries now. I read like the last 3 in quick succession. I've caught up on A Sign of Affection again because I read volume 11.
Oh, I could not get into, like, I tried reading A Sign of Affection volume 11 and I got so annoyed at Itsumi on like the first third of the volume that I just returned it to the library unfinished because I was just like, I can't deal with this.
I kind of want to know
anymore.
what somebody else's opinion was because it's the volume where you finally is like, I'm going to tell
I'm going to tell my deep dark secret that isn't a big deal at all.
I was like, I'm sorry, what about this was so difficult to talk about
that we have like avoided discussing it for 10 previous volumes.
Exactly. Right.
The payoff was I got so fed up. But I also felt like it was very classic Itsumi that to him it felt like a lot bigger But of course, the narrative will spin it around that it's
I
big
was
for
like,
everyone else as well.
dude,
But I'm like, this is
Dude has been living in his own head for too long. He's like, oh, I feel bad for poor children in other countries. I can never admit this to other people. Like, that's not a deep, dark secret. You want to go help people.
yeah.
What?
It's the payoff was not. I was just like for me it was kind of like the self-righteousness.
It was a little
The self-righteousness. Yeah. This man is not even white, and has a white savior complex. Was what I thought.
What's happening right here with this cat digging herself into my couch?
Good for her.
Like, what is she doing?
She's digging behind the cushion.
Is there something there she wants, or she just wants to be back there?
She's having fun, I think.
Have you hid catnip there?
I don't think so.
Well, whatever floats her boat. She looks so cute.
Oh. Oh, I touched her forbidden tail.
Is she having the zoomies?
She is, but inside a couch. I wish you could see exactly what I'm seeing right now. It's very funny. Wait, I don't even have my phone. I can't take a picture. You're gonna have to. Do you see her?
Yes. Her face is so much darker now than it. Like I feel like there was much more orange in it.
Her face
when you first got her.
Is very orange.
Yeah.
It really
or it might be the webcam.
How orange versus how black she looks depends so much on the lighting.
Yeah.
Like the brighter the light, the more you see the orange.
But sorry for hijacking your thoughts on Sign of Affection, Volume 11.
No, I hijacked the whole entire thing with my
cousin. It was worth being hijacked. And let's say Volume 11 of A Sign of Affection was not worth all of our full attention.
Yeah. I'm honestly, like, after Volume 11, I'm wondering if I even want to, like, honestly, the payoff was so that I'm wondering if I even want to continue on with the series.
I think it's been building up to that moment for so long, and then it was just like, okay, what? Like the rest of their relationship story is just going to be, well, he wants to travel after university. Is she going to go with him or not? That's pretty much it.
Also, I just seriously hate, like, here's the thing. Yuki is consistently, like, in her internal monologue throughout the entire series. She's constantly saying that she needs to be more independent. She needs to find her own. She has no life outside of this man. She has absolutely no. She has only one single friend, or actually, she has two friends, and both of them are also embroiled with him. So she literally has no life outside of this relationship, and I'm just like, this is painful to read. Because they're trying to, the authors are trying to spin it as this sort of independent story, and what I'm getting is that she's learning to be codependent.
Yeah. So I went straight from that to reading the second omnibus of Vinland Saga. That was an interesting segue. So what was that, like volumes 3 and 4 of Vinland Saga?
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm not loving it so far, but I think it's because we're still in the early days of the series where Thorfinn is just a little shit, and I don't like him yet.
Have you met Knut yet? You surely you have met Knut, the prince with the very nice band.
Yeah. We just met him, and
have you met the drunk priest?
Yes.
Okay, well, you have met all of the kind of. For the first act of the series, all of the important characters.
I know way more about what the drunk priest has to say than anything that Thorfinn is doing right now, which I don't think is the point of the series. I could be wrong.
Well, the priest is kind of offering interesting commentary on the whole Viking culture.
Oh yeah, the sequence of how do you explain love to all of these Vikings who just care about drinking and killing people? Like, yeah.
I mean, also. The whole series, like the first act especially, just like read it just for Ashlad.
Yes, well, we learned the interesting thing about him in
Yeah.
the second omnibus. So I will continue reading, but I'm not reading for Thorfinn.
I mean, like, here's the thing: you won't read the series for Thorfinn until like Act 2. I will give you no spoilers.
Is
It's
there
great.
a time jump? Does he grow up?
I will say that there is a time skip at one point in the series.
That's good. That's good.
But like I feel like I won't spoil anything, but like the whole thing is like the end of Act 1, like Thorfinn needs to be built as this type of character now, so that the end of Act 1 will basically like.
That's what I'm thinking is like, well, we're leaning in so far into this murderous little kid's story of vengeance for a reason here.
But like I'm like Ashlad is simultaneous, like here's the thing.
He's the best and the worst.
He's the best and the worst father figure for him.
Is he
like,
really a father figure? Anyway.
Well, kind of. Imagine, like, here's the thing. He is kind of raising him. He's raising him to be a murderous little shit, but he is raising him, and and even though Thorfinn wants to kill him, there is that, like, they have that weird toxic bond. I actually kind of think
it's very toxic.
Yeah. I actually kind of think that Ashlad's relationship with Thorfinn is very similar than Silco's relationship with Jinx in Arcane.
Ooh.
Like I don't know why, but in storytelling, not in real life, I do enjoy toxic fathers.
I think Silco's a better father, though.
Probably. Silco at least kind of has his own understanding of love. So
yeah,
I think Ashlad is like Ashlad. I don't think he loves Thorfinn in that way.
Yeah.
I just realized that I forgot to plug in my better webcam, so I've now switched to my better webcam. Sorry.
Show off the hat.
In higher def. I just heard an echo of myself. That was weird. I read Zencho's latest contemporary romance, which is basically lawyers who think that their enemies discover they're not enemies and take down the bad guys.
Is Zencho writing any fantasy anymore?
I don't know, but this exists in the same contemporary world as the Friend Zone Experiment, which was her previous novel. A couple of those characters actually reappear in this one. So it was entertaining. I don't know how Zencho did this sudden turn into contemporary romance. It's very heavy on like corporate politics, toxic Asian family dynamics, and law. So yeah. Anyway, it was a very satisfying read, but I don't know how we ended up here with Zencho writing this. Maybe that's just like what she really wanted to do.
I know they're doing a re-release of The Perilous Lives of Jade Yao. There's a new indie press coming out that Laura Elena Donnelly, I think, is heading. And they're doing a Kickstarter. It might have just ended, but they met their goal, and so their add-on now is pre-orders for a physical copy of The Perilous Lives of Jade Yao, which I guess didn't have a physical copy before.
I think that's why I've never read it. It's because it was maybe only available as ebook, and I just never tracked it down. So yeah. But yeah, I will read anything that Zencho writes, even though I still haven't read The True Queen. Someday I will.
I have also not read The True Queen, but Sorcerer to the Crown was great.
Sorcerer to the Crown was really, really good. Oh my god, why can't I remember the name of the...
I still remember specific scenes from Sorcerer to the Crown, and it's been almost 10, not 10 years, but like it's been several years. I think I read it in like 2018, 2019.
See, I know I read it, and I do not remember it at all. Like nothing.
And that's okay. Some stories have like an impact. Like for example, with Witch King, I have like super vivid like can still picture the stuff that happens in the summer court with the cageling court specifically,
Mm-hmm.
and like with the Saredi like tents during the war. Like very vivid stuff.
Something stick in your mind, yeah.
Yeah.
I also took a little deviation into like historical Regency era Jane Austen mystery. Don't know how to
What?
describe this. I read the Murder of Mr. Wickham by Claudia Gray, which is the first in a series, which is basically, it's like the second generation, like the kids of the couples from Jane Austen's novels, like that kind of generation. So in this first one, I mean, it's literally Mr. Wickham gets killed at a house party where all the main characters from like all the major Jane Austen novels are at, and some of them have their kids there. So it's basically Darcy and Elizabeth's very autistic son teaming up with what's her name's daughter. What's the name of that? Oh, Northanger Abbey. Whoever.
Francis and Catherine. No,
Is it Catherine?
Catherine Morland.
Yes.
I'm gonna say something like, well, non-controversial. I dislike Northanger Abbey so much.
It's the wonder sometimes if I would like it more when I reread it. It was such a non-experience for me. I remember nothing of it other than it's a thing that I read.
I don't like. I only dislike 2 Jane Austen books, but I don't know which one I dislike more: Northanger Abbey or Mansfield Park.
Mansfield Park.
Mansfield Park has the worst love interest.
Mansfield Park also has a Jane Austen's anal sex joke, though.
What? Where?
So Fanny Price and what's her husband's name are in this, and she is such a freaking wet blanket. She spends the entire time sniveling and worrying if she's doing the right thing in God's eyes or whatever. Although she sticks to her guns on one particular thing, which ends up bringing her husband to his knees, and I have to applaud her for that. Anyway, so I read this. It was very enjoyable. If you ever just wanted to get together all of the couples from Jane Austen's novels, throw them together into a really ill-advised house party where the worst person ever ends up dead and they all have motive, and then their kids who can't actually be together because they're unmarried sneak around trying to solve the murder. I liked the kids, Jonathan and Juliet, I think are their names. I liked them quite a bit. So I'm actually reading the second book now, which is like Mr. Willoughby's wife or something like that. So I figure there are 4 books out. I'll probably read all of them as quickly as I can get them from the library. So
and are all of these murder mysteries? Like, yeah. Who dies in the next one?
I think Willoughby's wife.
So Lucy?
No, Lydia.
No, Wickham.
Willoughby.
Willoughby
Oh,
is
Willoughby is.
Oh no, Willoughby. I'm thinking of.
Willoughby is the love.
Willoughby is from Sense and Sensibility.
Yeah, he married somebody else, not Marianne.
Lucy Ferrers, Lucy, who was secretly engaged to Edward, and there was drama around that.
No. Willoughby does not marry Ferrer like Lucy Steele. Lucy Steele marries Edward's brother.
Yeah, no, but Lucy was originally secretly engaged to Edward.
Yes, but they don't marry Willoughby. I think Willoughby marries some heiress off screen.
Wrong person, because I deeply disliked Lucy, and I was like, oh, she's gonna kick them. No. Wrong person.
I think Willoughby marries some unnamed heiress, or briefly mentioned. She's a non-character essentially.
Yeah.
He's still pining for the one who got away. Anyway, I will keep you appraised as I read through this series. I feel like there's going to be a lot more callbacks and stuff, but I'm going to enjoy it a lot. Let me speed up here. I listened to the audiobook of The River Has Roots by Amal El-Mohtar, which I enjoyed. I absolutely predicted the ending, though. I was a bit surprised. I knew where it was going pretty much the entire time, but it was very lovely. I quite liked it. And I even liked the short story that was tacked on at the end. It is in the audiobook, so it was a really good audiobook production. Like the narration was good, and there was like the singing, the music, the sound effects and stuff. I really like that they like went all out on the production of that too. Like if you're gonna do such a short thing as an audiobook, like they made it an experience. And I read All of Us Murderers by KJ Charles, which gothic romance novel, haunted mansion, and instead of half-naked screaming ladies running out of the building, it's the two queer protagonists who do totally get it on.
Also, KJ Charles.
KJ Charles, yeah. This was also quite fun. A little bit.
Is it actually haunted in like this is fantasy SFF way, or is that?
It is.
I hate it when asking if something is in my genre is a spoiler.
This is not SFF. It is almost more horror.
Oh,
like
yeah, but horror can still be like SFF speculative. Like, is it?
Yeah,
is
no,
there is something supernatural, or is it there is not something supernatural? But there went the cat.
See, is it a spoiler to say that it's not spec fic at all? It's a murder mystery.
That's what I need to know when I go into a book.
I kind of okay. Is it like the how spicy is it compared to like KJ Charles like other fare? Like, is it more about
very
the murder
low
or
spice?
Okay.
I mean,
so I can read this on the bus without like raising eyebrows.
Yes, especially with this cover. I mean, it's not like closed a door, but there are like maybe 2 scenes in the entire thing. Is it Scooby-Doo? Only if everybody in Scooby-Doo really freaking hates each other.
Okay.
It's about a really, really toxic family, and they might die one by one.
Oh, okay. So is it also it's if it's KJ Charles, is it historical fiction as well, or is it like set in modern times? Because usually they write in like
oh my god, what is this?
Pre-World War II era. I think
this is set in the 1930s.
Okay.
It's early 20th century. Yeah.
Pre-World War, like has the World War II started or not?
It's in between.
Okay, so
yeah. Unless I've completely misremembered. So yeah. But I really enjoyed it, and it like all of KJ Charles's books are kind of similar. You know what you're getting with her books, which is why I like them so much. But this one is a little bit different. Like, it's not. I don't think that it's romance forward necessarily like a lot of her other books are, even if they are fantasy or horror or something. Like, there's usually like that the relationship thing is the story ultimately, while there is romance, like people getting back together. The story doesn't end where you might think it's going to based on her other books. So I liked it. I also read What Stalks the Deep by T. Kingfisher.
Is this the third one?
It's the third one. And
I did not even realize that had come out.
It just came out. I liked it a lot better than the second one.
I should probably read it because it's going to end up on the Hugo shortlist.
I am not going
I should
to
probably
read
read the other
up
one
on the Hugo shortlist. Did I get in the Hugo voter packet?
I kind of want to know what Di thinks about this book, because when I was reading it, it occurred to me that like, I know that Ursula Vernon has read what's the book we really didn't like with the monster from last Hugo Awards?
Oh,
the Wiswell's one.
Yeah, Wiswell's.
You Can Build a Nest In.
This book has, I'll just say, there is kind of a similar concept in it. It's kind of like, I know Ursula Vernon read this other book before she probably wrote this one, maybe, and I want to know if she like decided to do her own little take on it. I really enjoyed it.
I would be interested because I can't remember if I said it here in a group chat, but I was like, Wiswell is trying to be T. Kingfisher, but he's not good enough.
Ouch.
They are not. They're not good enough.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I was deeply meh on the second one, and I don't think I should have been Hugo nominated, but I do think T. Kingfisher is a good writer. It's just I don't think she needs to be on every Hugo ballot.
I mean, I think that about a lot of authors. Does Seanan McGuire need to be on every Hugo ballot? Luckily, in recent years, she hasn't been everywhere. But I feel that same way about John Scalzi. Like these prolific authors, basically. Like at some point, like especially if they've already won, like can we as nominators and voters kind of, be more
I have
diverse in our reading?
I have like an entire video's worth of thoughts about how I think I can guess probably like the vast majority of what's going to be on next year's Hugo shortlist for Best Novel, just because there are a certain number of books that have come out by very popular Hugo authors this year, and like it's gonna be them. I hope I'm wrong. I would be pleasantly surprised to be wrong.
Award seasons are boring if you can predict what's going to be on the ballots just based on the publishing schedule.
Like,
no.
Any other books, Rachel?
The Last Thing is the only nonfiction I've read in quite a while. I read On Paper by Nicholas Basbanes, which is a history of paper making. Which is now maybe my new obsession. I will be attempting to make paper as soon as my kit arrives, which should be tomorrow.
That's cool.
What is the name of it?
The book?
Yeah.
It's called On Paper.
On Paper.
The everything of its 2,000-year history. I did feel like this was a little bit disjointed, but I think it's because, I mean, how do you fit everything about paper from around the world over 2,000 years into one book? He focuses it kind of like moving from the past slowly up to the present. Like it begins with like the invention of paper in China, and it ends with a chapter on basically the office paper from 9/11, when the towers came down, how everything was covered in paper, and one specific piece of paper from that day. But I think a lot of this book was organized around his own interest in paper and a lot of research trips that he had taken. Basbanes has apparently written multiple books about like the history of the book. So he's done a lot of research tangential to this area, and then kind of like cherry picked and did more research on top of that to be specifically about the paper that is in books and the technology of that and everything. So it jumps around with like where he's been and some of the people he's talked to and stuff. And a lot of it focuses on bringing paper mills to the US and stuff like that. So I just thought it was super interesting. I read this because Andrea recommended it to me. I had asked her when she did a video on her channel a while ago about rare books and stuff like, is there anything about paper? Because we're always reading about books. It's like our favorite thing to read about, right? Books about books. But what about the paper that makes the books,
That's actually really interesting.
Yeah, I really cool.
Like I kind of want to read that. I put that in.
I thought it was a really interesting book, and I'm seriously considering buying a copy and gifting it to my mom, because my mom is also really interested in paper. She's really into binding notebooks right now, so she's got like a whole library.
I was just about to say that if you start enjoying paper making, the next thing to do is start binding your own.
That is exactly what my mom said to me last week, and I told her I was getting a paper making kit, and I was like, because she has to provide the blender. I don't have a blender for crafting, and she's about to retire hers. So I was like, you're gonna have to come over here and make paper with me. And she goes, if you make paper, I can turn it into notebooks.
Yeah, I mean, and then next we know you're doing your own zines.
Yeah. So I'm just like obsessed with the idea of being able to make a piece of paper that actually resembles paper, not like the artsy craft paper with flowers embedded on or whatever. Like I want to be able to create paper that you can like write a letter on. This is absolutely achievable at home. It's just like getting the right materials and stuff. I'm also obsessed with the idea of making paper out of fabric, because
Oh yes.
that is it. Like rag paper was the paper
I mean,
until
pulp,
the wood pulping
like
process was invented.
Yeah.
Pulp Fiction was also like printed on rags.
Well, no, that's why they call it pulp fiction, is because it's from wood pulp and it
Yeah.
ages very badly. It's quite brittle. Paper made from
But something
Yeah, from
something at
paper fabric is
some
still,
point was like made from like because they literally called them rags. I
Yeah.
think
yeah.
because they're like
I think
I keep getting the stuff mixed up because Pulp was its own thing, and Pulp
Mhm.
Fiction got its name from that. However, on the similar vein, around the same time, you had this thing called rags that were made from like basically scrap fabric
Mhm.
Yeah,
that
I
was
mean, I
turned
think
into paper.
US dollars are made with cotton.
That's something that's actually covered in the book. They go to the mill that has the contract. It's had the contract to make the paper that U.S. currency is printed on for a very long time. Or it was in this book is from 2013, and some things have pretty radically changed in the paper mill world in the U.S. But Crane and Co. paper, which I have heard of, was the one who at least 10 years ago still had a contract to do the US currency. And it's apparently why the US bills have a lifetime use of a couple of years versus a couple of months, is because they are printed on what's still pretty much 100% rag paper. It's very sturdy. And of course, it's reinforced with security stuff and plastic and all that. But it lasts for a very long time for a reason. So I thought that was really interesting. But my interest in textiles is kind of what grabbed me with this book initially, because I've always heard that mention of like the rag man, the rag pickers. If anybody's read Louisa May Alcott's Little Women, there's a scene in there where the
Yes.
girls are arguing about who gets the rag money for that week or whatever. Like, what does that mean? As because somebody came around and paid people for their rags because they couldn't get enough rags to make enough paper in the country. They were still importing thousands and thousands of pounds of rags from Europe into the US.
I want to read that. Like this piques my interest. I really want to read that book.
So Kurlansky, who wrote the book Salt, like that microhistory of salt, he has also written a book on paper, which I have checked out right now, and I'll be reading that. So there may be a lot more about paper making coming from me. I have developed that niche interest right now. And I have scraps of cotton and linen fabric in my house that need to be pulped. So we'll see if I destroy a blender or not.
I need to hear more about your paper making adventures. So keep us posted.
A really long time. That's everything that I've read. So
okay, we have around half an hour to go. So I think we can do a speed run of media. Does anyone have anything to discuss? Anything specific?
I have not really been doing much. I have been watching the new season of Great British Bake Off. I really do enjoy this batch of bakers. There's normally one baker that tends to annoy me, and none of them annoy me. And I am sad to see whenever someone is eliminated, I am sad about it. I've also been watching Gastronauts on Dropout, which is their cooking show where 3 comedians give 3 chefs challenges. So a really fun one was forbidden edible. So basically, don't eat Tide Pods, don't eat bath bombs. Well, give me one of those that I can eat. And so basically challenging the chefs to do something like that. So one of them made polvoron. So she was inspired by bath bombs. She did polvorons, which are like a type of Filipino no-bake cookie that are very crumbly, and she did them as bath bombs. And they looked like bath bombs.
But they were edible.
Well, they're edible because they're cookies.
Okay.
But they looked like bath bombs.
Oh, so they're making edible things out of things that are not edible.
No, they were making something that you could eat that looked like something you could not eat.
Ah, okay.
So that was really fun. I really love Gastronauts. It's one of my favorite Dropout shows. And then I listened to all of this podcast called Liberty Lost, which is about Liberty University's mother maternity home. So basically, they're much more common prior to the 1970s, where young women or like unwed mothers would go to these homes and they would basically be there until the baby was born. And normally they would give up the baby for adoption, or they like a new baby would appear in the family and it would be like, oh, we magically had like a late pregnancy. But this is about specifically Liberties, and it's really depressing. And basically they buy and sell children, but like in a way that there is plausible deniability, because they don't actually buy the children. They just offer these young women a full ride to Liberty University if they give up their baby.
Ugh. Wait, that sounds like the Magdalene houses, except like
Yes.
that's not great.
Yeah, it's very grim. And then I found out Sarah Marshall from You're Wrong About has a new podcast with the CBC on the Satanic Panic. So I listened to the first episode.
Was it good?
I liked it. And there's also a surprise Mike and Aubrey cameo, because they had people reading headlines. And I was like, Michael? Aubrey? So for folks who don't know, Michael Hobbs used to co-host You're Wrong About with Sarah Marshall, and he now co-hosts another podcast called Maintenance Phase with the writer Aubrey Gordon. And I really like both podcasts, along with Mike's other podcast, If Books Could Kill. So
nice. I can go next.
Yeah.
I have basically 2 series that I have been watching. So House of Guinness, I still have 2 episodes to watch because like other things keep distracting me, and I seem to have this thing wherever a show gets too intense, I start resisting watching it to the end. And now the last 2 episodes, I'm feeling there is an intense conflict that's gonna happen in the next episode that's gonna wreck shit up. So I'm having like an emotional blocker to watching the last 2 episodes because of this. But it's been like really good. Like if you like historical dress, like it's a historical drama basically, following the Guinness family as their father dies, and the 2 brothers who basically made Guinness what it is today, like a household name in Ireland and like around the world. It tells like how they took over the company after their father died. And it's essentially like hugely dramatized, obviously, but it's like really entertaining. Costuming is great. Like the costuming is really great. Like it manages, like, first of all, the hairstyles of the women, aside from like, okay, there's that one Manic Pixie Dream Girl that's in all the period dramas that has loose flowing hair.
No.
Of course, because like, why not? But a lot of the other women have the standard like 1860s, like 1870s, like the curlettes here, and like there's a lot of hats. Like there's a lot of hat use in that show, which is great because it's period accurate. And it's like, it's just for the costuming, it's great. Also, the soundtrack is really good. It has like Kneecap has songs in it, and a lot of like indie Irish artists. It's one of the first shows on Netflix that has actually Irish subtitles. Like if you want to put on subtitles, they are in Irish, and there's like some Irish that's actually spoken in the show. And but yeah, like I've been really enjoying it. So would recommend. And the other show that I kind of picked up at random is The Residence. That's starring.
I'm so sad it got canceled.
Yeah. I also would have wanted. Yeah, like there's not gonna be a second season.
No.
When
did they cancel it? Because I thought it had been greenlit for.
It was like silent canceled. It was like a couple months ago.
Yeah.
I was very sad about it.
I'm so sad about it because like I really enjoyed it. Like, okay, I will say there's one yes, the House of Guinness soundtrack slaps. It's really good. You should listen to the soundtrack, and especially the way it is like super modern music that's tied to like that 1870s that time. Like it's a nice contrast, like really chef's kiss. I was not even expecting the series. Like I went in with no expectations at all, and it turned out to be really good. Back to The Residence. It does that one thing where I was starting to be, because like the whole idea of The Residence is that someone gets killed at the White House during a state dinner, and then a detective gets called in. The detective is a birder, by the way, and I'm suddenly a little bit obsessed about the idea of like starting birding again, because I used to do it quite frequently.
I watched this with my parents a couple of months ago, and all of us at one point or another were yelling at the TV, "That's not when you go birding."
I mean, also, we're like the whole point is that like she has to figure out most of the murder plot during a single night, which then she's doing all of these interviews, and my brain just goes like, there's like no way you're going to do those interviews in the span of, let's say, 8 hours at most. So my suspension of disbelief was like kind of like being really stretched to the limit, because there was like so many of these interviews that were going nowhere, and she was re-interviewing the people anyway. That's the like, but it was really entertaining. Like I really love like these kinds of like murder mysteries where you're kind of like being given all of these kind of like clues at kind of at the same time, and then like if you then would watch the whole thing again from the beginning, you would start to see like where the murderer was essentially like foreshadowed.
Mm-hmm.
Like I really enjoyed it, and I really loved the main character. Like I think Uzo Aduba did a great job.
Great. I really loved her, and the thing that I really liked about her character is how much she cares and values other people.
Yeah.
So like the scene where she's like, what are the consequences if I don't stop? And she like makes the choice to stop because she wants to find the truth, but she values that person more.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a really, really good character beat.
Yeah. But yeah, those have been the series that I have been watching. I've also been playing on and off Hades 2. Since it got released, like it finally has the final release, and ironically I think I burnt myself out playing it so much in early access that it has actually been pretty hard for me to get back to it now that it's actually in its full release. I will say that this has been the first save, like I started a new save for the final release. I only played one save file during the early access, so I didn't get to see how they had rebalanced and refactored, for example, the resource gathering system and stuff. The game is freaking hard. Like the beginning game is like much harder than it was in early access. Like when I started, like it was like, oh, I'm just flying through, and I'm like, Hecate was beating my ass so many times that I was just crying, just like, let me pass just once, please. I just got past Scylla the first time, like a week ago, and I was like, oh, thank you, I finally got to the third zone. Like I still have not gotten to Kronos yet. But anyway, that's me. Kelsey, Rachel, do you have any media?
I just disappeared to get a Kleenex, but I'm still here.
I have been I've just started watching Foundation.
Oh, nice. Lee Pace, Space King, like my emperor.
I am watching it very slowly because Paul and I are watching it, and can usually get through like 2 or 3 episodes a week. But yes,
how many episodes? How many episodes in are you?
I think we're almost done with season 1, so fewer than 10.
Has he already done the naked thing?
He has been shirtless multiple times, so I don't know which one you're referring to, but
You will know the naked thing when you get to the naked thing.
I just have this theory that once they realized they had snagged Lee Pace as the Emperor, they were just like, well, he's hot. We got to make sure that he has his shirt off like in every episode.
and to be fair, he seems to enjoy it. Like there is some certain aura that he exudes.
I get the feeling that he's probably really enjoying playing Brother Day, who is just...
But the thing is, I feel like whenever Lee Pace, like even when he's in subjectively not great movies, like for example when he plays Thranduil in the Hobbit movie, he's a show stealer. Like he's great as Thranduil. He like really embodies it.
I still remember Lee Pace from Pushing Daisies. So like you say,
Pushing Daisies is great. I'm still like, salty that it got cancelled.
He's Ned. He's making pies.
Which reminds me, I actually have Pushing Daisies. I actually have Pushing Daisies on DVD, I think, so I should probably watch those at some point because I love that show.
I watched it in like one big binge back in the day, like right after it had been canceled. So I knew that it was not going to continue when I watched it.
But Pushing Daisies, it's the same showrunner who did Hannibal.
No.
Yep. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Same showrunner, and you can really tell, like with the like emphasis on color theory. With Pushing Daisies, it's very like saturated, and with Hannibal, it's more like blue and desaturated. But it's the same. Like he focuses really much on like color theory.
I watched one season of Hannibal. I remember thinking it was very beautiful. Like just it had like the cinematography, the coloring. It was just like really cool. I did not have the threshold to deal with the content, so
fully understandable. It's not for everyone. I mean, the show starts up with cannibalism, so
not my thing. But I'm also very slowly watching Slow Horses, which is another Apple TV show, which has Gary Oldman being an absolutely vile MI6 agent. It's quite entertaining, so yeah.
Nice.
So I'm watching that.
I've heard good things about that.
I think it's a bit of an acquired taste, especially if you only watch the first episode and you're like, who the hell is this person that Oldman is playing? He's disgusting. It's kind of the point. But then you get to like him, and you wait for the scenes where he turns his disgustingness on the really, really terrible second desk lady at MI6. You're like, yes, just let loose on her. So yeah, the show is it's called Slow Horses because it's about MI6 agents who do something bad enough that they can't really be agents anymore, but not so bad that they can get fired. So they just get sent off to this place called Slough House.
Yeah.
And nobody ever comes back from Slough House. And the guy who runs it, Lamb, played by Gary Oldman, you get the feeling that like his job is just to make their lives so terrible that they quit and MI6 doesn't have to deal with them anymore.
I'm not sure if I want to watch that as entertainment when I feel like if you've ever worked at a corporation, that's basically how your existence is. There's someone there who's paid to just make your life miserable.
The difference, though, is that Lamb actually isn't a terrible, terrible person. He just acts like he is sometimes. Anyway, like he has more empathy for what some of them are going through than the actual people in charge do. So I'm watching that, and I also got hooked on the Ancient Magus's Bride on Crunchyroll, so I'm watching that anime now. So
Ancient Magus Bride is great. The manga is also really good. So okay.
Wait, the guy who wrote Slow Horses? That's interesting.
Interesting. Rachel, anything more? Kelsey, do you have any media?
Do you want to hear about figure skating or not?
I mean, we
It
have
is-
10 minutes.
It is the
so
time of
go
the
ahead.
year where the Grand Prix series has started, and so there is a new, major international figure skating event happening every weekend in a different time zone, and it wrecks my sleep schedule.
I mean, here's the thing, Kelsey. Dai has talked about women's football in multiple occasions on these live shows. You can talk about figure skating. Go ahead.
It's going to keep happening all the way through the Olympics and then after. Like, there's just going to keep being more figure skating, and I don't know that you need to hear about it.
Are we still on the thing that has the terrible theme?
The dance number?
The rhythm dance is going to be the 90s all year. That's
all year.
Because also at the Olympics, because the Olympics is this cycle.
Yeah, the ISU chose this rhythm dance theme for the Olympic season on purpose.
Is this something that anybody wants?
No.
No, they think that it's going to give them like viral moments or something, and it is not. They are very wrong because they don't understand the internet.
Yeah.
The other thing, about ice dance specifically is that, so we've had 2 of the Grand Prix so far. Last weekend was France, and this weekend was China. Next weekend is Canada. In France, there was drama in the ice dance because this was the first time we've seen the Italian team, Guinard and Fabry, this year, and the judges just absolutely tanked them in the scores compared to the scores that they've been getting the past few seasons. And I'm like not personally invested in this drama because I don't personally like the Italian team. Like, I never like their material. I don't enjoy their skating, but that's just a personal preference thing. Like, in terms of who are the best skaters according to people who actually understand ice dance, they're one of the best teams in the world, and they scored way lower at this event than they have been scoring for years, with 2 programs that were effectively clean, no major mistakes. So that is drama. The other drama from the French ice dance team is how good the international debut of Fournier, Baudry, and Cizeron is. And that is hard for me to say because I'm so used to both of these people skating with other partners. So people have lots of reasons for being unhappy that these 2 are competing together and that they are debuting in an Olympic season and that they might win the Olympics. Just because the reason Laurence Fournier-Baudry is no longer skating with Nikolai Sorensen for Canada was because he got accused of rape and he got suspended. This was all like 2 years ago. Anyways, she is still dating him. They are still engaged. He's still her fiance. She stands by him. And so he got suspended by Canadian Safe Sport, whatever they're called. And then so she paired up with Guillaume Cizeron for France. And he formerly skated with Gabriela Papadakis, and they are the reigning Olympic champions. And then they retired after the Olympics. They were going to unretire, and then for reasons that there's so much drama speculation about, Gabriela Papadakis decided that she would no longer be returning to competition with him. And she is apparently going to be publishing a memoir, and everyone thinks that there's going to be tea.
Goodness.
Wow.
Anyway.
I mean, I guess we can have a monthly corner.
A lot of feelings about this team teaming up, debuting in the Olympic season for France, which is gonna, push the erstwhile top French team down in the rankings. But they were very good at this event, and they did win it fairly.
But everybody wanted them to be bad.
Yeah.
I do think, Kelsey, it's reasonable that you will keep us updated with the shenanigans this season, considering that like a lot of us are time zone challenged as well, and also a lot of this content is blocked.
Why
regionally.
the Italians got scored so low if they didn't
because they don't train at Ice Academy of Montreal, and everyone else does.
So all of the judges had it in for them.
So okay, so this is all just like fans thinking that they know what's happening with the judges when really no one knows what's happening with the judges. But the thing that appears to be very, very corrupt about Ice Dance right now is how many countries all have teams training in Montreal at Ice Academy of Montreal, and how it sure seems like all of the judges from all of the countries that train there seem to be scoring all of the countries, all of the teams that train there from all of the countries more highly than anyone who trains anywhere else.
Yeah, that does seem a little sus.
Yeah. So that is the Ice Dance drama. Also, okay, that's the Ice Dance drama from the last week. This week, there's not so much drama as like Green and Parsons, who are one of the American teams, withdrew from the free dance with presumably an injury, but like after taking the ice for the warm-up in costume, like it looked like they intended to compete, and then they were called to skate, and they went up to the judges and withdrew. So that was dramatic. Presumably it was a good choice for them, and their health. Sometimes it is better to withdraw if you're injured rather than like knowing that you are going to skate badly and then having that bad international score, for the beginning of your season affect everything coming after. But yeah, that means they're only going to have one Grand Prix, and it's just sad for them. The costumes looked beautiful. I would have liked to see the program.
Are you gonna see them like if they are competing in the season though, or is this like their only chance?
No, they'll have a second Grand Prix event, and they'll be at U.S. Nationals. They probably won't make the Olympic team, given how good Zingis and Kolesnik were here. I like Zingis and Kolesnik, and they did really well. I think they came second in this event too. Chalk and Bates are the top American team. So this is. I keep talking about just Ice Dance. There are 4 disciplines. I watch all 4 of them, but Ice Dance is the one with all the juicy drama.
To be fair, we also don't have time for all of the 4 events. But I'll take the Ice Dance drama though.
No, so I will be complaining all season about how there are no SFF programs this year in figure skating. Everyone's skating to, not everyone. There's a lot of very serious Italian music because the Olympics are in Milan. There's just so much very serious Italian music, and no one wants to take a risk on fun programs.
I mean, I think the whole drama thing is basically like you're talking about a sport where people are like, it's a paired event.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but there was also drama in pairs this weekend because Sui and Han, the reigning Olympic champions from China, are suddenly back this season after having not competed in 4 years, or the last 3 years. They have not competed since the last Olympics. It sure seems like she has been itching to get back to competition, and he would rather be anywhere else.
So ice dance is not the same thing as pairs?
No,
No,
pairs
not
is
at all.
basically figure skating, but in pairs. It's like, well, ice dance is actually like
Ice dance
Like
is like this alien discipline that is so unrelated to
it's
the
dance but on skates, whereas pairs is like figure skating, like similar to how single
Pairs,
figure
okay,
skating
so
events,
ice
but like
dance-
with their own thing.
Ice
It's
dance
a whole
has
thing.
no jumps, so if you see any jumps and there are two people on the ice, you know it's pairs.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, basically
Pairs
ice dance
has
is
the throws,
dancing.
side by side jumps, and the twists where he throws her in the air.
Okay.
Ice dance has none of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ice dance is
has
basically
drama
like-
instead.
Ice dance is basically like, you know, you could do a waltz and you could do the paso doble and stuff like that, and it's like there's a, I think in ice dance there's also like a limitation to how long you can, you're not supposed to let your partner go for like a certain period of time, whereas in pairs
well,
there's
there
like
are
more flexibility.
different elements and different rules for different elements. The main thing with there's a lot about ice dance I don't understand. Ice dance is so hard to understand if you've never done it, and I don't even skate. I've obviously never done it. The other way you can tell it's ice dance as opposed to pairs is because the lifts don't go over the head.
Yeah, well, it's like in dance essentially.
Yeah, it's supposed to look like ballroom dance on ice when they're all supposed to be jiving to 90s music, like it's a dance party in the 90s. It does not look much like ballroom dance.
I will have to call time because we still have to do like outros and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
can
at
I
time.
just say what Chalk and Bates are skating to and what they are wearing?
Go ahead.
Chalk and
Go
Bates
ahead.
are the 3-time now world champions from the USA. They would have been hoping to win this Olympics, except suddenly Fournier, Baudry, and Cizeron are here, scoring way higher than them last weekend than they scored this weekend. So drama. They have a reputation for skating to programs where she is something inhuman and like he is human. So like they did 2 seasons of this program where like she was a snake and he was a snake charmer. And then at the last Olympics, they did a program where he was an astronaut and she was an alien. And then they did a program after that where like she was a flame and he was the wind.
What?
And so people joke about like, oh, is it going to be this year a program where she is a flower and he is a gardener? But they are switching it around. They are doing a program where she is the bullfighter and he is the bull.
Oh my god, that's so stupid. I want to see that.
They are skating to a I don't know, flamenco cover of Paint It Black that's apparently from
Painted
Westworld.
Black by Rolling Stone.
Apparently this cover is from Westworld too, and I'm like complaining about lack of SFF series.
Which reminds me
programs,
that
but
Westworld.
they are not making it a Westworld thing at all. It is this bullfighting program. She's got this huge skirt with it's lined in red that she's swishing around like it's a cape, and it looks like a disaster waiting to happen because someone's going to trip on it.
Oh wow. Okay.
He
Reminds me that
designed
Westworld
all
got
of their
cancelled.
costumes,
which is
and
too
they are
bad.
all over the top. Anyways, that's Chalk and Bates.
Nice.
You need to send us video of this.
Yeah, I need to see video evidence of this train wreck.
I will try to find it for it's not a train wreck. Like it's an okay program. It's just like very out there in a way that is very obviously them. Like it is so on brand for them that it's almost like a running joke. But they are a running joke.
All right.
Okay,
Indeed, to end it on this note, oh my, indeed,
Yeah.
said in the voice of George Takei. Okay, going up on time, what are some of the things that you are excited for in the next month, and also outros? Rachel, go ahead, you start.
I have no idea what I'm looking forward to. I mean, I'm probably going to go to the theater and see the next Knives Out movie. That comes out next month. So
Yeah, nice.
we'll count that.
I can, first of all, I can show you that I finished something, which now that I look at it in the webcam looks very wonky because it's like mirrored. So it's always when you mirror the stuff you're drawing it that it looks stupid. But anyway, I'm looking forward to Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, which is getting a Netflix release this coming week. And I am excited. I have been watching Guillermo del Toro's interviews, and the amount of times Oscar Isaacs gets personally antagonized by people thinking that Jacob Elordi is playing Frankenstein because everyone keeps mistaking Frankenstein for Frankenstein's monster because nobody has read the damn book.
I am really so it's getting a theatrical release, and the closest one is like 40 some odd minutes away, and I'm really hoping that, because I saw that it's expanding, I'm really hoping that it comes to my town because I really don't want to have to drive to Salem.
We actually commented on the hat because we were shocked pre-going live that she was in this hat, because none of us apparently remember that she has been wearing this hat for several years.
I don't think I've worn it on the live stream before, but I've definitely worn it in my videos, and it's definitely part of a Halloween costume I've worn before.
But it was a showstopper.
I couldn't wear it the whole time. It's a little heavy. It was getting uncomfy, but I thought I'd put it back on at the end. I'm not looking forward to anything. It's the end of the year. Sad.
I am looking forward to the new Kate Elliott. I still haven't read The Witch Roads, but The Nameless Lands comes out on November 4th. And then Claire North's Slow Gods comes out next month, and I have it pre-ordered.
That I'm going to be very intrigued about that. Like, I'm not going to pick it up.
I want to read The Witch Roads.
But I think that's most of the new stuff I'm looking forward to, because I don't. I'm trying to think. Star Wars Visions Volume 3 comes out soon, and that's so Star Wars Visions is where they partner with animation studios from around the world. So Volume 1 was all anime studios in Japan. Volume 2 was more global, so they worked with like the studio that did Wolfwalkers in Ireland.
Oh, nice.
For example, and they worked with like a studio in Chile, a studio in India, and then Volume 3, they're going back to Japan and working with anime studios again.
Okay.
And I like it because I like seeing the different animation, and I like seeing how the different studios put their own spin on Star Wars.
Yes, that I have only seen the first season of Visions, and I really liked it. But it in the similar vein that I liked Animatrix back in the day.
Yeah.
Like Animatrix was great. It would be like specifically for the visual flair of like the different animation styles and directors taking part.
Yeah, it's just like it feels weird saying this as the resident Star Wars person, but like I've been feeling a little bit more indifferent on certain aspects of Star Wars recently, but it's exciting to see them doing something different and new and experimental like they have been with Visions. And I really like them kind of expanding who gets to work with Star Wars and what does Star Wars mean to them. And like, they aren't canon, but like canon can be in your heart.
Yeah. Okay, with that, I am calling it a night. It is getting quite late here in the land of Finland. Next month, I think on the Thanksgiving month, we're on Dice channel. If I remember correctly.
We're on Kelsey's. I'm
damn it! I always get the rotation wrong.
I just know because I'm always my birthday month, which means I'm every 4th month.
Okay. Kelsey, we're on your channel next month.
Yes.
And with that, I bid you good night. Have a very nice rest of your weekend wherever you are, and see you next month. We will let you know the date when we know the date.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.